welcome to Beginner Guitar Course. Throughout this course, we will be learning the basics and fundamentals of guitar. Whether you'd like to show off a little for your friends or master the instrument completely, you've come to the right place to start. Now, like anything, the more you practice, the better you'll get. So if you're going into these first couple lessons feeling awkward and uncoordinated, that's okay. That means you're doing it right. The more you play around with your instrument, the more natural it will become. In lesson 1, we're going to go over how to hold the guitar. Now there's 3 basic ways to hold the guitar. There's classical, casual, and with a strap. Now casual is how I have my guitar right now. It's over my right knee and sitting straight up and down. It's very important that when you hold your guitar this way, the guitar is not slanted. A lot of people, when they're first learning, this is more comfortable for them. But when you play this way, your wrist can become sore and it can cause injury down the road. So you want to make sure that your guitar is sitting straight up, just like this. Now, classical style is going to be over your left knee. Classical style is usually used for more classical pieces or complex pieces because you're going to have better access to the fretboard up here. Whereas in casual style, this can be a little bit more uncomfortable. The third way to hold the guitar is with a strap. The strap buttons into these little notches on the back of your guitar, and it's important that when you're playing a guitar with the strap, that the guitar is not too high or too low. Playing with the guitar too low or too high can cause your wrist to be overextended and will cause injury down the road. Hello. In this lesson, we're going to get a little more familiar with your instrument and learn what the guitar is made up of. Now, this is an acoustic guitar, and I'm going to be going over the parts of an acoustic guitar first, and then we'll go over the parts of the electric guitar, which is behind me. Now, with the acoustic guitar, this is the headstock, and the headstock holds the tuning pins, and these are used to tune the guitar. We'll get into that a little later. Now, this is what we call the nut. The nut aligns the strings along the fretboard. This is the fretboard, this brown rosewood part. And the fretboard consists of frets. Now each fret, this is the first fret, second fret, third fret, fourth fret. The fret is the space in between this bar. The frets will be determined with inlays. As you can see here, these little dots. Your guitar may have inlays here and here, as the guitar behind me does, or it may not have any here. Now that's okay, that's just the design of the guitar. So the inlays will always be on the 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 12th, 15th, 17th on every guitar. This is the sound hole of the guitar. This is where the sound actually comes from with the acoustic. It echoes throughout the guitar. And then this is the bridge. Like the nut, it aligns the strings down the fretboard. Now we're going to go over the electric guitar. This is an electric guitar. It's made basically of the same components as an acoustic guitar with a few minor changes. Like the acoustic guitar, we have a headstock, we have the tuning pins, we have the nut, we have the fretboard, and like I said before, we have inlays on the fretboard and also inlays on the side of the neck, just like the acoustic. And the main difference between an electric and acoustic guitar is how the sound is made. In acoustic guitar, you have the sound hole that echoes the sound throughout the guitar. With an electric guitar, you have what's called pickups, which are these here. And these are called humbucker pickups. There's also single coil pickups, which are just one of these guys here. And these pick up the sound from the strings and amplify it into the amplifier. There's also this switch here. And what that switch does is it activates either the neck or the bridge pickup. And the neck and bridge pickup both produce very different sounds. So depending on where you have the switch activator, you can either have just the bridge, both the neck and the bridge, or just the neck. These knobs are for volume and tone. Now, some guitars will have a lot of knobs, some guitars will only have a couple knobs. They all do basically the same thing depending on what your guitar is made up of. So they're all either going to change the volume or change the tone of the guitar. And if you have a lot of single coil pickups, then you're going to have more knobs to change the sound of those pickups. And same with the pickup activator. If you have more pickups, you're going to have more than just 3 settings there. Also, that there is where your cord plugs in. And that's when you're plugging into an amp, you plug your cord into there, and that's what's going to transfer the sound of the amplifier. And before we start playing, there's a few numbers that you need to know. There are numbers for your fingers, there are numbers for the strings, and there are numbers for the frets. So let's start with your fingers. Your fingers each have a number. Your index finger is number 1, your middle finger is number 2, your ring finger is number 3, and your pinky finger is number 4. So remember that. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's very important. Now we're going to move on to the strings. And the strings are a little counterintuitive because you would expect the string closest to you, the thickest one, to be string number 1, but that's wrong. The highest string is actually number 1, the string farthest away from you. And then counting down, you have 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the string closest to you is number 6. So try to memorize those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the frets are very easy. It's the fret closest to the headstock is going to be fret number 1, and then just moving up the neck, fret number 2, fret number 3, fret number 4, fret number 5, and so on. Now how these numbers are put into application is, if somebody's going to tell you, take your first finger and play the first string on the 2nd fret, you would know this is the first string, this is the 2nd fret. That would be what you do. So those are the numbers. Now take a moment to try to memorize them because they're going to be very important going forward. In this lesson, we're going to learn about the musical alphabet. This is very important to learn if you plan on tuning your guitar. Now the musical alphabet consists of letters A through G. Each note higher is a letter higher. And once you get to G, it goes back to A again because you've reached the same note in an octave higher. Now, we learned that each string has a number, 6 and 1. Each string also is a note that is a letter in the musical alphabet. So we need to learn the letters of each string. We'll start with the 6th string, which is the E string. The 5th string is the A string. The 4th string is the D string. The 3rd string is the G string. The 5th string is the B string. And the 1st string is the E string. E, A, D, G, B, E. Now the 1st and 6th string are the same note. That's why they're both E. So a really easy way to remember that is eat all day, go to bed early. It sounds corny, but remember it because it will really help you memorize what the letters of each string are. So try to remember those because when we're tuning our guitar, we're going to need to know them in the next lesson. Now that you know the musical alphabet, we're going to get into tuning your guitar. Now this is very important if you want your guitar to sound good while you're playing. Now that we know the letters of the strings, E, A, D, G, B, and E, we know what it should read on your guitar tuner. Now if you haven't invested in a guitar tuner, then good news. You can just download one on your iPad or iPhone and they work great. So there's no need to invest in one. So with our guitar tuner, there's a couple of symbols that we need to learn. There is the sharp symbol and the flat symbol. Now the sharp symbol is a hashtag and the flat symbol is a lowercase b. And what these symbols mean is sharp means that your note is too high and flat means that your note is too low. So if you're at E sharp when you play your note, that means that the string is tuned too high. I'm going to go ahead and just untune my guitar a little bit. So that way we can tune our guitars together. So if I'm playing my 6th string, we know that the note should be E. Now this note is showing as being D or A. So we know that it's too low because it needs to go up to E. Now as you're twisting your knobs, be conscious of which way you're twisting. So now we're in the E's, and the goal is to get it right in that little zero, right in the middle, so it's a perfect E. Now that's looking pretty good. Yep, all right, we're good there. Now we're gonna move on to the 5th string. Now the 5th string is supposed to be an A note, but we know that this is too low. So we're gonna go ahead and tune it up a little bit. There we go. Now it's not showing that flat symbol anymore. Try to get it right in the middle. A little bit less. A lot of times it just takes a little touch on the tuning key just to get it right. A little bit less. That's looking pretty good now. All right, now we'll move on to the 4th string. We know that this should be D, and it's showing C, so we're gonna have to turn it a little tighter to get to D. There we go. All right, that's looking good. We're going to G. A little too much. Pull it back a little bit. Just a little more. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Now we'll go to the B string. And that just needs a little bit just to get back up. There you go. And now to the E string again. And that just needs a little bit also. Alright, so now you may think your guitar is completely in tune, but because the tension on the strings has changed, the strings actually become a little bit out of tune as you do it. So you want to go through again and just make sure, see it's dropped a little bit since I first did it. Just want to go through one more time and get it right. Perfect. Alright, those are still good. Now your guitar's in tune.